Hello dear viewer, Noah here, and today I'm going to talk about Dark Link from the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and specifically some interesting features of the way he is programmed. Um, in Ocarina of Time, Dark Link was essentially programmed to be a hidden Player 2 character. He has all the same controls that Link does. He has like an analog stick that moves him around. He has an A button to make him backflip. The B button will swing his sword. Um, but when you're just playing the game casually, a lot of the stuff isn't really that apparent. So, who is Dark Link? I'm going to show what the normal fight with him looks like here in the Water Temple. And so you come into this room, and this is Dark Link's battle arena. It's one of the more interesting rooms in the entire game. And there's a lesser known detail here that a lot of players miss. I certainly have been playing this game for decades, and then I only learned about this, a handful of years ago now. But when you come into this room, Link has his reflection here in the water. And at first glance, this room is empty, and you cross over this island, and now Link has lost his reflection. A casual first-time player would probably come over to this door and see that it's locked, and when they turn around, they see this creepy guy standing here in the middle. And so this is Dark Link. And, when you swing your sword at him, he swings his at the exact same time. When you approach him, he jumps backwards. And when I was a kid playing this game, I always figured that Dark Link was like any other enemy in the game. Custom programmed like any other. He's got a couple of unique moves like that where you can jump on your sword. He dodges a lot of your ranged weapons. After a little while, Dark Link begins to get really aggressive on his own, or he'll attack you even if you're not attacking him. One strategy that I used as a kid to cheese this boss fight was to spam him with Din's Fire. And another interesting thing with Dark Link is that he has the same amount of health that I do. And so I came into this room with only 3 hearts of HP, and so Dark Link went down in only a few hits. If I was playing this game more straightforwardly and had like 15 hearts or something, this would be a significantly longer battle. But that's the standard Dark Link battle. It's in this big empty room. There's no walls to climb over, no deep water to swim in. But what happens if we take Dark Link somewhere else that he's not meant to be? And that's when it really begins to be interesting to see how he's actually programmed and what else he can actually do that you don't see in normal gameplay. So let's go over to the Kokiri Forest. Alright, so I'm in the Kokiri Forest now, and I've spawned Dark Link here. I'm using the Ship of Harkinian PC port for Ocarina of Time, which has some built-in dev tools to spawn actors. A long time ago, I had done some experimenting with this on the actual N64 version of the game using a GameShark code. There was a code where you could replace one of these rocks with any actor that you wanted, and so you could get Dark Link into the forest this way. But let's take him on a tour of the forest and see what he can do. So, he might be able to jump across these platforms if he comes at him the right way. Right, he's able to climb up the edges of these platforms as well, which there's nothing for him to climb on in the water temple, which is interesting. I can go over here. If I put him on the other side of a fence, he might climb over it. Let's try this fence over here. Yep, see, he climbs over and jumps over the fence. Let's get him over here in some deep water. And so Dark Link is able to swim, he's able to climb out, and if I come at him the right way, he'll dive. Um, because what he's actually trying to do right now is he's trying to backflip away from me, and as you know, the A button does the backflip, but when you're in the water, the A button does diving. And so when you bring Dark Link into an environment like this, it kind of shows some insights under the hood about what his programming looks like. And you know, he's not like the typical boss fight, or he's not like a Skulltula or a Deku Scrub or any of that are like more custom programmed with specific enemy behavior. Dark Link is actually quite literally a player 2 character. He's got all the same button inputs that I do. A long time ago, I remember seeing I could get him to climb on these vines over here a little bit as well. Oh, alright, I've got him up here. Let's see if he can come up and get me. I'm not getting him up on the vines this time. When I played with this on the N64 a long time ago, I could get him to... What he would do is he would hang on the bottom of the vines, like right here. He wouldn't quite climb all the way up, but he was still able to do this. And the way that he's able to climb up these things is because all you gotta do is just push the joystick into it, and then you climb up. And so since Dark Link has a joystick of his own, he behaves exactly like the player character would. And nowadays we can actually see some of the source code for Ocarina of Time. So as I was saying, I was playing this on the ship of Harkinian, which is the decompiled Ocarina of Time for N64 that they had ported over to PC. And we can actually investigate its source code. And so I did some searching earlier, and this is actually the source code file that programs Dark Link. His internal name is apparently EN Torch 2, EN for entity, and then his entity name is Torch 2, which is actually kind of shows it as what the programmers were doing was they copy and pasted an existing entity, which was like a fire creating actor, and then they just built Darkling on top of that. But as you like scroll through this, I saw some examples in here of where it actually puts a button down. So like this is the function that makes Darkling do a backflip when you get too close to him. And so he sets his joystick angle and tilt, and then he does input current button as button A. He gets a little bit of an invincibility timer, so you can't hit him while he's backflipping to make him more consistent with the player character. And there's a lot of stuff like that in the source file. And recently I saw this YouTube video of somebody who did kind of a deeper dive into Dark Link shenanigans. Like this YouTuber was playing with Ship of Harkinian, and they did a randomizer run where they replaced every single enemy in the game with Dark Link. And they found some other interesting behaviors where, like, if Dark Link takes fall damage, it actually takes away from the player's hearts, because the game registers that somebody took fall damage and it's attributed to the player, and the player actually loses the hearts for it. This YouTuber got Dark Link stuck somewhere in the Spirit Temple, and when he dropped a block on his head, Dark Link would void out. But because Dark Link was kind of based on the player character, it would actually make the player character void out and respawn. So very fascinating stuff. And so I'll put a link to this video down in the description under mine, so you can check this out, because there's a lot more fascinating things that this YouTuber covers. But another thing I want to talk about is back in the N64 days, I had seen this other cheat code that you can actually like swap characters with Dark Link. If the two of you are in the same room together, you can actually become Dark Link. So like here the players become Dark Link, and now they're battling regular Link. And because Dark Link was essentially the exact same like player character as Link was, this kind of a cheat wasn't terribly complicated to pull off. And in the sequel to Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, um, there's a similar character in the game called Kafi, or Kafi. He lives in Clocktown, and there's a sequence where you get to swap controls with him back and forth as you both tag team a dungeon together. And given Kafi's behavior in Majora's Mask, and given that Majora's Mask was heavily based on the source code for Ocarina of Time, I have a strong hunch that Kafi was actually based on the source code for Dark Link. Um, this video here is from 14 years ago. I never played with this cheat code myself, but I had seen some coverage of it back in the day. I'll put a link to this video down there as well. Um, and yeah, I think that'll do it for tonight. I've always been kind of fascinated by Dark Link and getting to see kind of behind the hood of how some video games are programmed. Um, there's a lot of other games that have examples like this where you take like a certain like boss out of his arena and kind of mess around with the game and do things that the developers didn't really intend for it. And then it kind of exposes some strange behaviors and some insights into how the game is programmed. So back in the N64 days, I was able to deduce that Dark Link was basically just a player 2 character just by watching how he behaves when he's in other environments besides his native boss room. And then nowadays in 2026, we can actually look in the source code and verify for sure that, like, yeah, he is literally the same as the player character with some custom changes on top. Um, but yeah, if you like this kind of content, go ahead and subscribe to my channel and like this video and let me know if you'd like to see more. And until next time, I'm Noah, and I'll catch you later.